Hello and welcome to the weekly quarantine where we talk about the upside of being inside. I'm your host, Lindsay Griffiths, and today with me this week is Betsy Decillis, who is about half an hour outside of Columbus, Ohio. Betsy, why don't you tell us a little bit about your quarantine situation before we dive into our questions?
So my quarantine situation is I am stuck at home with two boys. One is a 40-something-year-old grown man, I think he is. I don't know. Sometimes he acts like he's a teenager. And then the other one is a teenage cat. They're the two greatest boys in the world, but they both drive me nuts during this from time to time.
Can't blame you.
No. I also am still working somewhat. I do social media for tourism organizations, and unfortunately, nobody can travel anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's affected work quite a bit. But other than that, I honestly am probably in one of the best situations. My husband has a very solid job. We're not hungry. We got plenty of money coming in. And yeah, like the worst thing that's happened to me this week was Green Chef canceled on me. So really, I can't complain about the whole situation right now.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
We like no complaints. So, all right, let's dive into our questions. What are you grateful for?
This is such a hokey answer, but I'm going with it. I'm gonna say time. I'm
Yeah.
not always using it as productively as I want to be, but I think I'm honestly happy that I have the amount of time I have so that I can go through these roller coasters of emotions. It's not like, okay, usually, this is weird, and maybe I shouldn't admit this, but I schedule freakouts.
I
And
love that.
just because I'm a solo person. So I don't always have the time to react the way I should to certain situations. So like if something happens personally, I will say, okay, you've got 5 minutes and you can feel every emotion. But after that 5 minutes is done, you have to get back to work. And that's usually how I react to things. Now I have that time to have the normal reactions to this quarantine, the frustrations, the sadness. And I think we all kind of need to have that.
Yeah.
And it's also, my cat at the very beginning of this was diagnosed with hyperthyroid syndrome. So this time has kind of given us the opportunity to figure out what our schedule is around making sure he gets the care he needs. And normally I wouldn't have quite as much time to figure that out. It would just be like, okay, this is the way it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, time is definitely my number one answer.
Mm-hmm.
But also learning to communicate with my husband better.
That's good. It's important.
Yeah. I think we're kind of nailing it. We don't hate each other, which is head and shoulders above a lot of people. I thought we'd have a lot of fights, and we really haven't. At the very beginning, we set out rules. Like during the day, I had the whole first floor of the house, and he has the whole second floor of the house, and we are not to be bothered. But then we kind of found out, we're kind of fighting over who's going to be in the gym. We have a nice little gym area in our basement. Mm-hmm. And I figured out this isn't working. So I bought a weekly calendar where I wrote on there, this is what I plan to do when I plan to be in the gym. Mm-hmm. And then I would start writing other things like grocery lists, and we're very mindful of who we buy dinner from every Friday. We try to do takeout. And so each week one of us gets to choose. So like this week he has to choose, and I told him, I expect you to choose by Thursday so that we can order from them early. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know about you guys, but those takeout restaurants, they're filling up. If you don't order very early, it's hard to get dinner out sometimes.
I think that's promising for
Right,
them.
right, yeah. Like I'm really happy. The restaurants that are staying open are really rocking it.
Yeah.
They're really bringing in people. I'm really glad the community is supporting them.
Yeah.
Being out in the suburbs of Columbus, we don't have that many cool local restaurants. So I'm glad the ones we do have are getting supported
Yeah.
very, very well. Like there was one night we called for 2 hours to try and get through to a restaurant.
Oh my gosh.
Their phone was just that busy.
Wow.
Yeah, and
That's amazing.
we were that determined because we were getting guacamole.
I mean, guacamole is really important.
Yeah, but I mean that's one of life's great joys.
I totally agree.
But yeah, like us figuring out how to actively do these things in a way that two stubborn, independent people, which we very much are,
Mm-hmm.
we're very easily talking to each other. Um, I schedule everything. I'm gonna sound so weird. We used to
No.
schedule, we picked up when we were getting married. We went through this marriage boot camp thing right before we had a Catholic ceremony. So like a few months before we got married, we had to go through this marriage boot camp with a whole bunch of people. And one of the things that one of the couples said was, don't fight when you're emotional. Schedule it for later. We haven't had that situation where we've had to even schedule a fight through this entire quarantine.
Wow.
I think that's like incredible. And that's something we regularly do because we annoy the hell out of each other. And we just, I mean, I'm sure he'll give you a list of things. Like he was not happy. I showed up to a Zoom Q&A yesterday in a tutu, and I was sitting on the kitchen floor with a tiara on my head. And he walked down in the middle of it and looked at me and was like, why? I'm like,
why not?
You married me. I think you should really look at yourself.
I had to Zoom on the moon yesterday, so,
Yeah. Just, yeah, so communicating has been a really great lesson that we've really incorporated. And I think we'll be doing a lot of things that we're doing now when we get out of it.
That's awesome. And I think one of the things I've heard from a lot of people, the theme seems to be this really intentional focus of, just being really intentional about your time in quarantine. And I really love that so much. And that's really what you're talking about here is, you set out in quarantine with being intentional about your communication, being intentional with your time. So, even if things don't go perfectly, you're giving a lot of thought to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we see that there is something that's going to turn into a bigger problem, like the gym, I bought the calendar as soon as I saw that was a problem. We're really trying to nip those in the butt very early.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's hugely important. I love that so much. So who are you connecting with besides your husband?
It's my husband. I've been noticing lately that I've had an uptick in Facebook friend requests. I don't know if you're experiencing that.
Oh, yeah, a couple.
Yeah. Personally, I don't normally do Facebook requests, and I say that to somebody that I messaged you, and I was like, I'd really like to be your friend. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, that's right.
I was writing about this. I was like, oh yeah, I remember sending that message to Lindsay, and she's gonna be like, you don't send Facebook requests, but you sent one to me because you're special.
Oh, you are too. I appreciate that.
But no, I don't normally send a Facebook request because I do find myself to be a little oversharey and a little annoying on Facebook. And my sister regularly tells me that is true. So I'm just going, and my husband does sometimes too.
Sisters are great, aren't they?
Oh,
I love my sisters, but that's what they're there for. Keep you honest.
My sister's 9 years older than me, so she's always been, I don't want to say a mom, but she kind of was.
It's what we older sisters are for. I'm the oldest, so.
My parents, they separated when I was in like first or second grade and divorced. So, this poor teenage girl was saddled with a 6 to 7 year old at her hip all the time. And she rocked it. She really did. Looking back, like it was very odd to go to her friends' get-togethers with this little annoying beast, but she always did, and she never complained about it. And so
Aw.
as much as I make fun of my sister and she makes fun of me, we do kind of like each other. But anyways, back to the point, because I will do 1,000 tangents here. But because I don't really send out friend requests, and it's been kind of touching me that these random people that I do very much enjoy in life, either in real life or we talk somewhere on the internet, they're starting to reach out to me a little bit more with these Facebook friend requests. And then, like I was saying, I do these Zoom Q&As every week. And it's just something that I was talking to people. I started a Ohio Tourism Facebook group. And as I was talking to them, I could tell that they were just needing to be together a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so I give them an excuse by making it a little bit more educational, and invite a speaker every week. And that kind of gives them a reason to be there, which I think is very important right now.
Yeah.
But getting to check in on all these small tourism organizations and how they're doing. I'm an Italian mom. I want to know my kids are fine.
Yeah.
And actually seeing them be okay helps me. And I think seeing each other being okay helps them. And once again, Italian mom syndrome. I love bringing some of the people that I think are the sweetest, nicest, smartest people in PR and marketing to them. I'm collecting on a lot of favors right now, and I said to my friend yesterday, I think I have enough favors to get us through June, so the quarantine's going to have to end. We're going to have to be traveling again by then.
Get it together.
Get it together, come on. But then in addition to that, there are just these little moments, and it's nothing that's like intentional. It'll be just a random person reaching out to me, or sometimes I reach out to them through messaging, and I found that it always triggers like a waterfall in one of us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just never anybody I would expect.
Yeah.
I'd want to talk to that badly, or they'd want to talk to me that badly.
Yeah.
And those moments of connection, I think, are what are really getting me through. And they're just tiny little moments that have really kind of given me life in one way or another. Especially from these moms dealing with their preschool and elementary school children. They need help like you would not believe. And just talking to them, I feel bad like doing my waterfall to them. They never say anything, so I'm just hoping that that's okay. But I feel really blessed when they give me their waterfall moment.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Yeah, they're definitely in a tough spot, that's for sure. So what are you letting go of?
The number one thing I'm letting go of right now is the need to always be productive. That's a big struggle for a type A personality.
Yes.
But I'm really like working towards the fact that it's okay to have a rest day. I'm not there yet because I had a day yesterday that wasn't at all productive. If you look at it on paper, like I did get quite a few things done, but I didn't get what I wanted to get done.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Yeah. And it was just because it was a bad brain day for a variety of reasons. Like I could get the things done that didn't require my brain, but anything that required my brain, just it wasn't going to happen. And I think honoring that that's part of our new reality right now is okay. And unfortunately, I think that's going to be our reality for about the next year.
Yeah, I totally agree.
We're always going to be experiencing some kind of trauma until we have a real vaccine or some way to really battle that. And it sucks to be a type A and admit that I will not always be productive in the way I need to be. for the next year, but it's just a fact. And accepting that, I think, is going to make me strangely more productive on those times that I do feel like I can do this.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I think that's right.
And then going right along with that is also, I'm letting go of the need to have a strict schedule.
Yeah. That's a tough one. I'm the same way. Yeah, being more flexible is huge, but.
Yeah, and the weird thing was, I saw this advice going around at the beginning. And I was like, oh God, that's bad advice. Where people were saying, set up a schedule and you do this every day and there's just no choice. And I was just like, nope, you got to be flexible. Like, some days you're going to have to get up if you have kids, especially at like 5 a.m. and get that block of work done. So that when that kid wakes up at like 8, I don't know what time kids wake up. We'll say 8.
Depends on the kids.
But when the kid wakes up at 8, so you can be there with them. So, I mean, 5 to 8, that's a good solid 3 hours of work. And you just have to kind of work when you can.
Yeah.
And especially when your brain is not functioning the way you want it to. And for some of the people that listen to this is going to be really TMI, but it's also something I'm experiencing. So, I don't think I'm the only one. My period's gone a little nuts. This month it was a week and a half late, and that's really attributed to stress. But for a week and a half, I was so ungodly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I could have forced myself yesterday when it finally came, and I cheered yesterday when it came. I'm like, I'm gonna get better.
Now I can concentrate.
But it was painful too because it was a week and a half late.
Yeah.
But I had like a schedule, like for exercise, you're going to run 2.5 miles. You're going to take your yoga class. But I had to recognize that's not where my body was going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being flexible with what your brain and your body is telling you, I think it's just so huge right now.
You're totally right. And I know for me too, it's a huge lesson I have to learn, because I think when I try to force myself to do those things and try to check off the things on the list that I feel like I'm supposed to do, quote unquote, it's more painful, like physically and emotionally painful. And that's when I really end up getting stuck, when I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to walk 2.5 miles today and I have to do yoga and I have to finish the things that are on my work to-do list. Those are the nights that I'm up exceptionally late and I'm really irritable and upset. And it's just, it's not supposed to happen that way. I need to be more flexible and give myself the grace and space that I keep telling everyone else that we all need.
Yeah, we're great at giving advice, but like actually doing it.
Oh yeah. As I said that to my mom last night when I was making dinner at 9:00, and she was like, didn't you just write a blog post about how you should be eating at meal times? And I was like, yeah, that's why I said do as I say and not as I do.
Yeah. But also, to go along with that though, you have to be very checking in with yourself. Like, is this feeling because my brain and body simply can't handle this right now? Or is this me being lazy?
Yes. Right. Where do you need that push?
Yeah.
And where do you need to rest?
Yeah. Like Monday, which was supposed to be Boston, which to me is like a holiday. I make sure I usually get all my client work done that I would need to do that morning so I can watch Boston.
Yeah.
Even though, like, even when I was not in a running space, that was always a special day for me.
Yeah. For people that don't know, she means the Boston Marathon.
Yeah, sorry.
Non-runners may not know. It's the Boston Marathon.
Yeah, right. It's something I'll never run because A, I'm never going to be that fast, and B, I will never raise that much money. But because it takes so much to get to that race, it's such a big deal for the running community. So it didn't happen Monday, obviously, and they just posted this wonderful Facebook post, and I was already like going, oh, I don't want to do my run today. I don't want to do this, blah, blah, blah. And then I saw that post and I was like, you know what? I'm being lazy. This is not a mind-body thing. This is being lazy. And I got out there, and yes, a dog bit me in the middle of that run, and I was not happy about that. It was a playful bite, so it was fine.
It's like, what? Is that a sign from the universe or what?
No. It was fine. Like, I was mad at his owner for just like letting him run without a leash.
Yeah.
Yeah, not okay. Put your dogs on a leash.
Yes.
But the run actually went better than my previous run. Like, I could easily see the marked improvement. So I was like, I'm really glad that I did that check-in with myself. And I saw that Facebook post that made me be real about what was actually going on.
Right. Sometimes it is just, you need that little bit of motivation to get out the door. So yeah, I agree with you. It's a question of balance, right? So, where do you need the space and the grace and the rest, which rest is very important, but where is it also like, okay, I need to get my butt in gear and get out the door.
Right.
Yeah. So how are you getting outside? I think we know.
Yeah. So at the very beginning of this, I really let the anxieties take over, and I didn't leave my house.
Yeah, fair.
I was explaining this to somebody, and my husband actually laughed as he listened to me explain this. Excuse me. But the way my mind was working was every time I took a step outside, I felt like there was a glove going on to my hand, and that there were just all of these bad things on my hand, and I would freak out to the point that, like, my husband wasn't letting me go to the grocery store. He really kind of made sure I eliminated what I did so that I could take the time to deal with it, which, thank God, like, I make fun of him and everything, but he is sometimes a saint. But I've moved past that and realized I need to be outside of my house sometimes. I even went to the grocery store all by myself, which was a really big deal. I still swore under my breath the entire time I was there, and sometimes yelled random things at people, but I did it by myself. And then I realized I really need something that pushes me out of the house regularly. So I've made the rule, even though we have a treadmill downstairs, that all of my half marathon runs have to happen outside. So today it's raining, but I'm still going to run in the rain because, as all runners know, a nice light rain is a great run.
That's true. It is.
It's just, people think I'm nuts. I also really love running in the middle of winter when it's really cold. That feels good in my lungs, but I understand that's not every runner.
The good thing is, too, if you run in the rain, most likely no one else will be outside.
Yeah, there will be no dog chasing me.
That's right. Social distancing is not as big a problem in the rain because no one else is outside.
Right. And I joined the Wazelle running team, and we had a happy hour where I just talked to random people I've never met before in my life, so it was a little awkward. But they were all saying, there are the two best times to run: before 9 a.m. and when it's raining. And then you do not run into anyone, and you can even go to a park if you want to. So I was just like, damn, that's good advice.
Yeah. Unless you're in New Jersey and your parks are closed.
Okay. Well, in Ohio, we only have one state park that's closed. Everyone else is open, and I'm sure being abused, but I have not gone to a park, so I have no idea.
No.
But yeah, so I think it's really helped having a goal and saying that to achieve this goal, you have to be outside.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, I mean, you kind of answered the next question, but I know you have some other ways that you are moving your body. So how are you moving your body?
Well, okay, so I said running. I'm training for this half marathon. I'm going to put a caveat to that I really do feel this half marathon will be canceled.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, when is it?
It's August 29th.
Oh.
So it's really on the bubble. But being in tourism, I'm seeing the events forecast. And the latest one says most events through September will be canceled.
Yeah. Is it in Ohio?
It's in Ohio. It's called Cap City Marathon. It's supposed to be this coming weekend. but it was rescheduled for August 29th.
Yeah.
And the way I'm looking at it is if I start training for it and it happens, awesome.
Yeah.
But if it gets canceled like I think it will, I will be in so much better shape for an October half marathon where I think I have a choice of like 2 in Ohio every weekend, because that's
Awesome.
almost all the spring races got rescheduled for October.
Yeah. Plus
So,
October is an awesome time to run.
oh yeah. People thought I was nuts because I did a half marathon a few weeks before my wedding. I did it with a veil and a white shirt.
I love it.
Yeah, it was a joke because my friend does the PR for that particular marathon. And she was like, oh, I'll throw you like a bouquet at the very end. And as you cross the finish line, you'll throw the bouquet. Like, we came up with these really grand plans, but it just ended up being a white shirt with a veil. But like October is such a great month to run that it helped get a lot of the anxieties out ahead of my wedding. So in addition to training for the half marathon, I told my niece that I want to give her a hug the next time I see her, and she told me that that was not happening and she would run away. And I told her that I'm now running again so I can catch her.
Nice.
So,
excellent. Good training.
Yeah, so now I've got the hashtag for my training going, training to hug Brenna, which I'm sure she thinks I'm overdoing things and being weird, but weird ants are the best ants.
Exactly. I am a weird ant. I fully support that.
Exactly. And then the other thing I'm doing is I'm taking yoga classes through Yoga on High.
Nice.
Yeah. And they've been really great in, I hate using the word, but pivoting to online only. They were one of the first studios in the area to do that. It's all through Zoom, and they went through their bumps early so that now they've got a really good system. And I saw it as a time where I could take lots of yoga classes and figure this out. And I came up with the same answer I came up with when I was taking in-studio classes, which is I'm a type A person and should only do Ashtanga yoga. Mm-hmm. Which we have Tom at Yoga on High. If you guys want to take an Ashtanga yoga class from anywhere in the world, he is one of the funniest individuals I've ever heard. So every yoga class includes a great workout, and he keeps it like Ashtanga yoga is such an intense workout. He keeps it where he understands that we're not performing the way we used to. Mm-hmm. So he's taking it a little bit back so that it's more manageable, especially if you don't have props in your home.
Okay.
Which I bought all the props that I usually use just to be safe. But he makes it so that you don't need the props and that you're not going to die if you do this.
That's good.
Yeah. Because usually that first time back into Ashtanga yoga class after I've been on break from it, I feel like a train ran over me. And
oh, yeah.
I have not experienced that. And I tried to make at least one of his classes a week.
That's awesome.
And this guy's a saint. He really is. I used to take yoga with this guy that used to be a yoga Nazi. And if you didn't show up to class, he would write stuff on my Facebook wall.
Oh my gosh.
Like, where are you? And
that's not how yoga is supposed to be.
No, like I literally had a friend that staged an intervention and said, you don't enjoy yoga. Like, you don't even go anymore because you're so afraid of this guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's not afraid. She was just like, you have such anxieties over what he's going to do that you want to go. Like, that's a problem.
Yeah. That's not what yoga should be about.
No. When she said that to me, I was like, oh, you're right. Like, if I heard anybody else saying this kind of thing, I would say, what are you doing?
Right.
So I ended up going back to yoga on high, and my usual teacher there, Linda, happens to also be a doctor. So like if I said I was going through a medical thing, she would understand it. Whether it was a body or a mind thing, she would get that.
Mm-hmm.
And she gave you room to show up. Like she was blessed by the fact that you showed up. And
Wow.
I always think kindly of Linda because of that. Like she never judged me for not showing up.
Yeah.
And but the problem was I never got to take the Tom because of the timing. And I'll say yesterday when I was just like, okay, this isn't me being lazy. My body just will not take this class today. I like tagged him in this post of Cesare, my cat, like cuddling with me and purring, which the way he purred kind of told me he knows I'm not feeling well. And if my cat can realize I'm not feeling well, then I need to rest.
Yeah.
So I kind of said that same thing in this Facebook post, and he commented with like clapping. And I was just like, yes, this is why I take from Tom and Linda.
Mm-hmm.
Because they find joy when I move my body and they don't take it personally when I don't.
Right, right. Exactly. So, they understand the mind-body connection, which is what yoga is all about.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people shy away from Ashtanga yoga because of the yoga Nazis tend to be Ashtanga.
Well, we're type A's for a reason, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's a really long explanation of how I'm moving my body, but I think I'm going to answer your question.
That's good. That's good. And what are you creating?
So, like you, I crochet. At the beginning of the year, I realized that everyone is pregnant right now. Like, what the heck is up with you people? You're popping out babies like
seriously in the water. Yeah, I know.
So I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna be at the point that I'm making a baby blanket a month. So I made my baby blanket for March, and then I made my baby blanket for April. And then I'm trying a new craft. The end of I started it at the end of February, or I started making the plans for it at the end of February. One of the people that is currently pregnant is my nephew's fiance, who is my niece. She's been around long enough. She's my niece, most beautiful girl, and I keep telling her she can do better than my nephew, but she still sticks around for some reason. And when she got pregnant with my great nephew, I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, honey. You're now stuck with us. Like, we're never leaving.
Yeah.
And she laughed, and I don't think she thought I was serious, but that's okay. But she is currently pregnant with our Star Wars baby, who will be making an appearance on May the 4th.
Yes.
That's when the scheduled C-section is, so we're very excited about that. But they happened to get their baby shower in just before the quarantine went into effect.
Oh, wow.
Like the day that they had their baby shower, I probably shouldn't have been in New York, but my sister wanted me there and my nephew wanted me there. And when they ask, I go. Mm-hmm. And it was a much smaller baby shower than was planned, and very much just closest people. And my sister, in any Italian family, we all have a job when there's a party. If you're real family, if you have a job. If you don't have a job, you're not really family. So my job, my sister thought the smallest job she could give me, because she didn't really want me to do anything big, was guest book. She's like, you could just buy a book, no big deal. I was like, yeah, I could do that. Or I could do something else.
I'll show you. Give me a small job.
Give me a small job. I will make this the biggest job of them all.
Yes.
So I said to her, what do you think about a signature quilt? And she said, have you ever made a quilt before? No, I haven't made a quilt before. It's just like, and you want to make a quilt for the first time for the guest book. I'm like, yeah, that's about all right. And she's like, have you ever heard of a book? Yes, yes, book is fine. Yes, but we're not okay with just fine here.
No.
We want a signature quilt.
This is a
For
Star Wars
anybody,
baby.
yeah, I know. She's pretty awesome. Like, she needs something awesome. So for those of you that don't know what a signature quilt is, I did a lot of research because anytime I come up with a crazy project, I research it more than anybody ever has to. So back in the 1800s, what they would do for big events like weddings or such is they'd make a quilt, and because it was before sewing machines were really in use, they do it by hand.
Wow.
And everybody would sign it so that the family would be covered with their family's love, even when they couldn't be around them. It's like
Oh.
a very, very nice concept. So me, I was like, well, if they did it by hand in the 1800s, I'm going to do it by hand.
Oh, God.
Something like that. Yeah. So I'm hand sewing these squares.
Oh, God.
And then I was just like, I have no idea how you put these squares together. Like, literally have no idea what I'm doing. So I looked up a way to combine it with crochet, a craft that I'm comfortable in.
Mm-hmm.
And I found fusion quilts where you can do the square and then you put a crochet border around it and then you can connect them.
Oh.
So I'm doing a fusion signature quilt, and it's an
Wow.
insane project.
I was going to say, that's intense.
It's very intense. I'm on my second month of doing it.
God.
It's something that I can it's very repetitive. Actually, a great project for right now.
Oh, yeah.
And then the plan is to make a bigger square in the very middle. And it's all lavender, and then the big square in the middle is going to be a dark purple with their names embroidered in white. So I'm kind of
Oh.
combining a lot of crafts that I've been working on, because one of my goals in life is to make my own Regency gown, like most girls. Like,
Of course.
the dream
Right.
of the Regency gown.
As you do. Yep.
Yeah, and that also has to be hand sewn. So
Obviously.
obviously, yeah, because they didn't have sewing machines either.
Right.
And
Yes.
for anybody that follows Drunk Austin, that's one of my favorite Facebook groups, Facebook pages, especially Robin of Drunk Austin. I love her. But they talk a lot about how hand sewing a Regency gown is not as big of a deal as you think. I think it's still a pretty big deal, so I haven't graduated to that. And plus, it costs a lot of money to get a corset, so I haven't. Until I feel like I have that money for that corset, I'm not making the Regency gown yet. I'm just going to keep practicing hand sewing.
Yeah. Good call.
Yeah. So after this project, I think I'm going to have the hand sewing down.
I think so too. This is really your like trial by fire.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
Yeah. I can't wait to see the finished project. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to, like, literally, I think, looking at this, and I've shown some people the fabric I chose, and everybody says it looks really cool. But unfortunately, at the actual baby shower, I had a problem getting the fabric pen because it was just as things were starting to get hard to buy.
Oh, yeah.
And Amazon, like, canceled the fabric pen I wanted. I had ordered it pretty early, and it, like, the day before I was supposed to leave, I found out was not coming.
Oh, no.
So I, like, rushed into Joann's, and I was like, I have no idea what I need. Like, none of these fabric pens are the nice one I wanted.
Yeah.
So I bought just what I could.
Yeah.
And I wanted all of it to be in purple, purplish lavender. And yeah, my dad's wife said to me, or my dad grabbed me. He's like, there's something wrong with the fabric pen. And I guess his wife was not happy with how it looked. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to let it go. It's a memory.
Yeah.
The fact that it's messy, we'll laugh about it, but the thought and the love is still there.
And it's partially a quarantine quilt because of what the world situation was when this baby is coming into the world.
Yeah. I mean, this is honestly in every way documenting the last couple months of my niece's pregnancy.
Yeah.
And this quilt will be a part of that story that my niece tells her as she's raising her. And that's
Exactly.
I kind of love that about it as well. Like, it's an insane project, but it's the perfect project for right now.
Yeah. And it's an insane story. I mean, what we're going through right now is such an insane time. So she's going to, that it's a part of her early history is going to be just amazing.
Yeah. And as much as it gives me anxiety that she's going to be born when this is still happening, and, they feel confident that my nephew will be allowed in the room. I don't feel confident about that. But like all of these crazy things, and all of these pregnant women right now, I give them so much credit because being pregnant right now is so scary.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I hope and pray to be pregnant someday, like I'm like thanking God that he did not give me what I wanted right now.
Yeah.
Let's wait until this is all over.
Yeah.
When the world's a little less scary, and then we can handle that.
Then we'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a friend who had a baby last week in New Orleans, right in the middle of hotspot.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything went fine though. Everything went perfectly fine. Yep. They're home. Everybody's happy and safe and healthy. My sister had her baby right before everything got shut down. So yeah, I know a lot of people that are, it's like all different stages. But so far, everything I understand is that, babies have done exceptionally well.
Yeah.
And deliveries have gone exceptionally well. So I think your niece and your nephew do have every reason to think that there should be no reason it won't go very well.
And I'm very thankful that my nephew doesn't have like the anxiety issues that the rest of our family has, because
That's lucky.
Very confident right now, and I'm like, what the heck?
Keep going with that. Yeah, keep going with that. There's plenty of reasons to be anxious, but yeah, keep going with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the joy of being in your 20s and thinking nothing can go wrong. I really wish I had
that. Oh my God, yeah. I don't think I even had that in my 20s, but hey.
I don't think I
feels
did.
That way. Good for him. That's cute.
It's adorable.
Kids.
I mean, I loved when he had a son, and it kind of gave him a dose of, all of these things could happen. I was like, finally, you're getting it.
This is what I have been telling you all along.
Yeah,
the world is a scary place. You're welcome. All right, well, one final question, which is, what is something that you hope will stay with us when this is all, quote unquote, over?
Okay, so I love ridiculous things more than the average person, but I hope some of the ridiculousness that I was seeing going on before, like, I can't even describe some of it. Like, PR marketing agencies were out of control, and there was just too many people going solo that did not have the experience to do that. I hope we're more practical.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, be like me and show up to a Zoom in costume. That's fine. That kind of ridiculousness, let's keep that.
Yes.
But be more practical with how you're doing business, and being making the client first, their business needs first, before trying to win some stupid award that has nothing to do with whether or not your client is going to actually get business out of what you're doing. I've always been less of the shiny object syndrome type of marketer.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
I always do things much more simplified and let the fans kind of guide me so that I can get them what they need, while also making sure my client is getting what they need. And I just hope that more clients and marketers are striving towards a simplified type of marketing that is not going after chasing those big PR headlines, or chasing after headlines that somebody else has already gotten. Yep. And I just want to see more marketing that actually brings business in. And I think we're all getting a little lesson of what happens when you don't do that.
Yes.
So I keep saying this, I really want to have all of us come out of this as being smarter marketers.
That would be awesome. I love
I
that.
would.
That's great. Yeah.
I want to not look at things and going, what the heck are you doing?
That would be nice. I think that about a lot of things, though.
I mean, I know some of that is going to still be going on, but like one of my friends and I were talking about it yesterday. It's another thing. Like, I'm finding myself collaborating with people more that I would not have normally.
Yes.
And I want us all to look at collaborating more, especially some of these supposed competitors.
Yes.
Ohio has a lot of CVBs, Convention and Visitors Bureaus, and destination marketing organizations that they're countywide, but visitors don't see those county lines.
No.
So seeing them work together more, which they're talking a lot more right now. I'm seeing that. I'm hoping they bring that to the next stage where they're like, hey, we could do something together. I have a lot of wineries here. And hey, I don't know any two counties like this, but we're just going with this. I have a lot of wineries here. And hey, you seem to create a lot of cheese. There's something we can do together. Looking for those products that can come together that maybe will create a fun regional road trip, which all the research I'm seeing right now is probably for the rest of the year, we'll be doing a lot of regional road trips, not necessarily getting on planes.
Exactly. Yes. I don't see anybody getting on too many planes in the near future.
But like packing it all into your car and going to see some within driving distance places, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think people are already making those plans right now because they want to kill their families as
correct.
They but seeing these marketing organizations like really work together so that they create this comprehensive, cool product. I think we're working towards that right now, where we're getting those relationships. We're working on those right now. And then the stage 2, as things are reopening more frequently, you're going to see these really cool tourism products that we've never seen before. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how people do it.
Yeah. Yeah. The ways that we really actually add value as opposed to just looking internally and, what can I do myself?
Yeah. And not looking at that county next to you as being the enemy.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think there's a lot of ways that people that we normally look at as competitors, you could say, hey, you're good at this, I'm good at that. Like I was talking to my friend yesterday, I'm like, and he said to me, I'm going to make sure your business survives. And I was just like, my business is going to survive. I'm good. Like, I'm not the person you need to be worried about.
I know. Don't even say it. Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm really good at social ads. You're really good at content and community management. He's like, can you imagine the two of us working together on a bigger client? That could be really cool. I was just like, that's like the nicest thing anybody has ever said to me. Like, that's another thing. I really love all the nice things we tell each other. Like, I really admired this about you.
Yeah.
During this quarantine, that's been happening a lot.
Yeah, people have been much kinder, and I hope that stays.
Yeah.
We need it.
Yeah, like it's just like the small minority of people that say those nasty things on the internet really do seem loud still, but it's easier to tune them out and go towards the kindness. And so I'm really hoping I have that ability going forward. But yeah, just collaboration, I think, as we move through the rest of this year, is just going to be so cool. There are going to be so many things we've never seen before. The innovation, it's going to be a new normal, and we're going to be uncomfortable at first.
Of course,
But
change is hard.
yeah, I think because of that new normal, we're going to have so many more cooler things that we wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah, 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 that's true. I totally agree with you. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. I've had a great time chatting with you.
Well, thank you
And
for having me.
oh, great. So for everybody who's listening, thank you so much for being with us on the weekly quarantine where we talk about the upside of being inside. Please look for us on all the places you listen to podcasts and rate, review, and subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll be back next week with another guest.